I assume most of you have seen, or at the very least, heard of the Disney movie, Pocahontas. The historically inaccurate but touching tale of a Native American woman falling in love with an English explorer. Now, let me just say, the movie that has the song lyric, "Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?" They didn't paint with a whole lot of red. Of course, with the exception, of course, for the song Savages, wherein everyone is getting ready for war and pretty much preparing to slaughter each other. This one sequence has more red than the rest of the film. But why is there so much red here, but so little red everywhere else? Simple. So it has a bigger impact on the audience. Let me give you a quick example. Which feels like it hurts more? Being hit by a ball you saw coming, or being hit by one that seemingly came out of nowhere? It's pretty easy to say the one that you didn't see coming is gonna feel like it hurt a lot more. This can apply with colors. If you had seen a lot of red before this scene, it wouldn't have had nearly as big as an impact as it did. With how they planned out the colors of this movie, this scene practically emanates the intensity of the situation. That is just one of the many clever ways colors can be used to affect your emotions. See, colors affect your perception more than you can imagine. For instance, it was found in one study that warm-colored pills were reported as more effective than cool-colored pills. The kicker? They were placebo pills. Both did absolutely nothing. Another study done by the Department of Psychology in the University of Florida shows that hockey teams wearing black were more likely to be penalized for aggressive fouls than hockey teams wearing white. Another kind of general but not that well-known fact is that red and orange stimulate your appetite, which might be why food products use it so often. Now, artists use the fact that colors affect your emotions to their advantage, whether it be in interior design, set design, makeup, lighting, paintings, or character design. In character design, a certain color scheme might be picked to give a character a certain effect, or maybe to reflect their personality. For instance, Inside Out. How the colors reflect these characters is pretty easy to see. First, we have Joy. Joy is bright yellow, and, well, yellow is a very bright, happy, and energetic color, all of which Joy is. I mean, she's so bright, she's glowing. Next, we have Sadness. Sadness has various shades of blue, a color which is very commonly associated with said emotion. However, she also has a white sweater. Now, most people might think, okay, they chose a white sweater because it looks nice, but this is Disney. I wouldn't give them so little credit. See, white is a color that has a positive connotation, at least it does in Western cultures. So most people would think that sadness would be, a bad thing. However, one of the themes of the movie Inside Out is that it's okay to be sad. So I think they give her a white sweater just to drive that point a little more. Then we have Anger. Anger is red with various red-based browns in his clothing. Now red is a very assertive, aggressive, intense, and, dare I say it, angry color. Red is also associated with fire, which literally spouts from Anger's head if he gets too intense. Then we have Disgust. Disgust is mostly green, which is associated with gross things and is the color your face turns when you're disgusted. However, she also has a purple scarf around her neck. Now, we could chop this up to, okay, it looks nice, but again, it's Disney. Now, let me give you a quick history lesson. Purple used to be the most expensive and the hardest dye to make, therefore making it the most expensive clothing color. So, only the high class and royalty could afford to buy purple clothes. Because of that, we associate purple with the higher class, and therefore more refined tastes, something that Disgust definitely has. And then, we have Fear. Now, I admit, Fear had to make me do some digging. Normally, when I think of the color for Fear, I think yellow or orange, like yellow-bellied cowards. But as you can see, Fear is entirely purple, so again, I had to do some digging. I found out that purple can be associated with two different things. One, the imagination. Two, the humanitarian. Now, the imagine part was really easy for me to put into place. Your imagination tends to blow things out of proportion and makes you afraid of things that would otherwise be unharmful. For the humanitarian bit, well, in the movie it stated that each emotion has a job in our main character's head. Fear's job is to keep Riley safe, and that kind of sounds like something a humanitarian would do. Now, as an artist and a writer, one of my favorite things to do is design my characters, and one of those things is picking out their color schemes. And trust me, when you're me, you have to get those colors just right, which can be harder than you think. So let me walk you through the process of how I picked the color schemes for two different characters of mine. First, we have Lewis. Lewis is a part of this story of mine that takes place in a modern but mystical world. Think today's world, but with dragons and mermaids and werewolves and Lewis himself being a wizard. Now, I wanted to keep his colors very natural and earthy, so I stuck with browns and greens. Now, I chose green because green is seen as a very caring, compassionate, kind, and nature-y color, all things that I can associate Lewis with. I also chose green because it represents growth and healing, both of which are very important to his character, as not only does his magic center around healing, but a big part of his story arc is healing and moving on from a tragic event in his life. I chose the browns because they help him seem a little more grounded and down to earth, which he is. He's a bit of a dreamer, but only to a point. His dreams are kind of realistically achievable, like get married and have a family. Next, we have Cornelia. Cornelia is a German-born girl who is a necromancer of sorts. To sum up her personality, she's a very strange, lonely, and complex girl, and I wanted to see if I could get this across in her color scheme. So first, I dressed her in light shades of blue and purple. I chose blue because blue is a very sad, calm, and melancholy color, and I chose purple because it's a mysterious color and is also associated with magic. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would consider temporarily reanimating corpses as some sort of magic. Next, I decided at first to give her bright red hair, but then I realized that didn't really fit her character so well. It was too bright and happy. So I changed it to black, which represents death, and fit her a lot more. I mean, you can't bring dead things back to life without being associated with death. And those two, of course, aren't the only characters who I spent a lot of time working on their color schemes for. Most, if not all, of my characters have color schemes that are important to their design, but I think you get the point. Thank you, and that's all.